The Velodrome at the Abuja National Stadium stands out of a Federal Capital Territory landscape. With its unusual architecture, topped off by a huge membrane dome, it is quite a masterpiece. Now, this multi-billion naira project was completed in 2003 ahead of Koja hosted by Nigeria in that year. But none of those events then took place in this facility, and since then it has never hosted any major events. Constructed reportedly at a whopping sum of 6 billion naira, it is a state-of-the-art facility, one of the very few of its kind in Africa south of the Sahara.
250 meters in a circuit. There is no any other African velodrome that has that standard. So Abuja Velodrome is the only one that is standard.
This should have been the home of cycling in Nigeria and the West African region, but it is not, and scores of aspiring cyclists in Nigeria are in a constant search for standard training facilities. The provision of such modern infrastructure was expected to inspire a cycling revolution, particularly indoor cycling, but it never did. For so long, the velodrome seems to have been in limbo. Then I had a compelling urge to get into the facility to see for myself what has become of it, but at first try, I ran into a barricade. It was under lock and key. A second try, with the help of the Cycling Federation of Nigeria, was more fruitful, and I discovered, to my astonishment, that the 6 billion naira velodrome has been turned into a warehouse for the Clean Cookstoves project of the federal government.
Just about 3 months or 4 months to the election, they dumped these materials and they could not evacuate it, and we have written to the Minister of Environment. When we investigated, it was Minister of Environment that brought those items here.
The Abuja Velodrome may just be a typical example of the proverbial white elephant project. So much was spent to put it up. It has never yielded any financial or material gain, not even sporting glory, and yet it must cost a tidy sum to maintain. From the onset, the project was steeped in controversy. No sooner had the project been completed than the dome was blown off by a windstorm, and for a very long time it was that way. That ill wind continues to dog the project, and since the dome was replaced, this edifice that was expected to host international competitions has never seen any such action. Nigerian cyclists also expected to take relative advantage of the local availability of such a facility to develop skills to compete with the road, but they can only look at it from a distance. The Cycling Federation of Nigeria says the velodrome has not even received the requisite professional certification.
Velodrome needs to be certified by the UCI before we put the velodrome to use. We are talking about track events here, and there is some safety nets that needs to be put in place before we commence the track event.
The Cycling Federation of Africa is now offering Nigeria an opportunity to get the velodrome back to life by proposing to hold the 2016 African Track Championship, a qualifier for the 2016 Rio Olympics here. However, this depends on the resolution of the certification issue.
So we just paid about 29,000 euros for the whole body, UCI, the Union of Cycling International, to accredit the velodrome, and we expect that we will invest heavily in terms of cycling tracks. We have so far made orders for 6 cycling tracks for us to test run the velodrome, and I'm sure so many young people who are interested in track cycling will be involved.
Indoor cycling is a sport which offers Olympic medals and guarantees fame and fortune, but Nigerian cyclists such as Gladys Grimpa-Tombrapa are still striving to pave their way to the victory zone. In spite of this, Gladys and some of her colleagues sprung a surprise by cycling to medals at the 2015 All-African Games in Congo-Brazzaville, where there were no such facility.
For we to surprise the government that we're going to win medal, since they don't put hope in cycling. Then when we went there, we won the gold medal. They were surprised that cycling won the gold medal.
Overall, the profile of cycling in Nigeria, which at one time held much promise, has plummeted. The Western Abuja Velodrome is one facility that can turn around the fortunes of cycling in Nigeria. And now, making this 6 billion naira investment operational is one major hurdle Gladys and her fellow cyclists will be hoping the National Sports Commission can ride over very soon. In Abuja, Musbal and Wahab, NC News.